if you have gone out to a restaurant lately, you've probably noticed higher menu prices. And that's because inflation is now hitting the restaurant industry, leading many to raise prices in order to survive. That is on top of unprecedented labor and food shortages. For more on this, let's go to RT correspondent Saya Tavenger, who is following the story. Saya, how is this all impacting the restaurant business?
Well, Manila, one of the industries hit the hardest during the pandemic were restaurants. We all saw those going out of business signs at some of our favorite restaurants across the nations. Now, the ones that have survived, like the major steakhouse in Washington, D.C., right behind me, they're now facing a triple whammy. The cost of raw ingredients has gone up very high. Now, the labor market, they're extremely short-staffed, and the supply chain, now they're still suffering from the pandemic. Now, food costs in particular have gone up historically as vendors struggle to find workers. Now, as a result, the year over year for restaurant food prices are up 5%. Now, that's the highest since 2009. And when restaurants end up paying a lot more for food prices, guess who ends up paying a lot more as well? The customer. Now, for example, pork prices are up 6% because slaughterhouses, they just can't find enough workers to process the animals. Now, the same goes for the cattle industry, which is why beef and veal prices are up 5%. Now, the poultry industry, they are no exception. Their prices are up 4%. And for restaurants, the high production costs combined with rising meat prices creates another major dilemma. Should they either stop selling this higher price meat cuts, charge customers a lot more, or endure financial loss with no guarantee when these prices are actually going to stabilize? And Manila, it's not just full service restaurants or fine dining that's being impacted. Fast food chains across the country are also facing increased food prices and also shortages in staff. Now, here are the four that are being impacted the most. Chipotle, they announced that they're raising their prices by 4% to fund the new $15 an hour for their staff. But Chipotle price hike isn't nearly as steep as some of these other chains. Now, if you're making a daily stop at Dunkin' for your morning coffee, you'll also notice that you're paying a lot more there. And that's because they've increased their prices by 8% as they also struggle to find workers just to keep their restaurants open. And remember those dollar menus at McDonald's? Well, don't expect to see those anytime soon. McDonald's is also facing a major staff shortage, and they're doing whatever they can to keep the doors open, which means they're giving a higher wage to their workers. And in turn, they've increased their prices by 8%. Now, meanwhile, Taco Bell, they had some of the highest price surges. Their prices are up now 10% because they're having a hard time finding ingredients and staff. And already, restaurants are typically operate a very razor-thin margin in order to make any kind of profit at all. So now this combined just creates another problem for them, Manila.
Boy, that's always tough for us, the consumer, who love some Taco Bell. All right, Saya Tavenger, thank you so much for that update.